Good afternoon, Crosstown students. Congratulations on being invited to join our chapter of the National Honor Society. We had some folks come during enrichment yesterday to learn about this. We've got some people live with us here today. And then if you are hearing this, you are watching the recording that is in your inbox because you weren't able to make it with us live. My name is Nikki Wilks, and I am the advisor for our National Honor Society chapter here at Crosstown. That we're just kind of getting up off the ground out of the pandemic. If you were a member of a National Junior Honor Society, we are the high school branch of that same organization, and it's around these four pillars of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. If you are here, that means you've already met the scholarship bar, which is a 3.0 GPA or better based on the national organization's requirements. There is conversation here at Crosstown for our juniors, sophomores, and freshmen about us increasing our chapter GPA requirement, which is something that we can do. But the pandemic's made that a little messy. And so we're trying to navigate what is a fair increase that allows us to still be an inclusive organization with lots of folks, but honors the fact that you all have gone to high school in the middle of a pandemic. Leadership, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but it's that idea of being self-aware, being resourceful, taking initiative, being a positive influence. A lot of times students think leadership has to have a label or a title attached to it, like I was the president of this club or I was the captain of this soccer team. But I would encourage you all to really think about where are ways that you've led in the classroom or with your organizations or in the cafeteria or wherever it may be. Leadership doesn't have to have a title for you to be a leader and someone who positively influences and changes and like creates dynamics around our classroom or in our school community. Service, we also know, has been messy just because of the pandemic, depending on you and your family and how you've navigated that. So think broadly even about what it means to serve the community. Maybe you weren't able to go and like work a soup kitchen, but were you able to share something on social media to help people get access to something? Or did you create maybe care packages at your home that you dropped off somewhere? Did you help bring in water when we were collecting water for the Jackson water crisis here at this school? It doesn't have to be affiliated with the school also. So if you've done service work with a church group or with the Scouts or something, that's totally acceptable. Just any way that you've given back to your community outside of your family, that's the key. If you helped grandma or grandpa or your uncle or your aunt, that doesn't really count. Hopefully you're just being a good family member. But if you've done something to benefit your community, whether that be super local here at the school in the concourse, or if that's more broadly into your neighborhoods and into different organizational groups. Character, again, just are you a person who demonstrates good character? Are you trustworthy? Are you respectful, responsible, fair, caring, and like a good citizen? And how do you have ways that demonstrate that? Again, think creatively, think outside of the box. Good character may be noticing that your classmate's been out sick for a week and volunteering to like help get their stuff together and get them caught up when they're back in school. It could be noticing that someone's always sitting alone at lunch or at an assembly and you make it a point to go and hang out with them. Like those are moments of character that I think we oftentimes overlook. So again, I would encourage you to think super broadly about what character looks like and means for you personally. And so the application you should have received in an email from me yesterday. If you didn't for some reason, please let me know. Like I said at the beginning, I am human, so there's a chance that I may have accidentally missed a junior or senior who has a 3.0 or better in getting them their initial email. But some tips that I would remind you of: provide well-written quality answers on your actual candidate form. Don't simply answer in one sentence or with an A. Use a lot of details that help us know as much as we can about you. for the faculty council that will review these. Whenever possible, we encourage you to make authentic connections to the learner goals. You'll see that they're linked in the application. And then you see some other information about leadership and service that we've already talked about. Remember, if you're compensated for the work, it doesn't count. And then there's going to be a last section at the bottom that if there's something you think we should know that the rest of the application doesn't provide space for, you've got room for it there. So maybe there was a lapse in your grades, and so your GPA is lower than you'd like for it to be. Or maybe you feel like your service part of the application is lacking, but you can tell me some story or some piece of information that'll just help flesh out and give us a better picture of who you are. Feel free to include that. At the end, I'll actually open up this form for you and walk you through it so that you can see it if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet. And then if you are accepted into our chapter of the National Honor Society, there will be an induction ceremony that we hope to have happen before Thanksgiving, because we want to make sure that you seniors especially, you're getting inducted so that you can use this in applications and in scholarship things moving forward. So it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround for you all. But you'd maintain a minimum of a 3.0 GPA for each grading period. Again, knowing my juniors in the room that we may vote as an organization to increase that. It says attend monthly meetings, but y'all, our chapter's really big here at Crosstown. And so we're trying to figure out what those meetings look like. So if that is intimidating to you, please don't let it be. We have not had monthly meetings since we started last spring. Like I said, we're trying to navigate that because we are a large organization, and it's looking like it may be something that lives in Canvas and that you all are able to just kind of stop in and check in with me, or that I might have like optional enrichment sessions for you that you could pop into. It is expected that you'd have 24 hours of community service across the year. So 8 hours in the fall, 8 hours in the spring, and then 8 hours in the summer. Obviously, if you're getting inducted here in the fall, that means you would be doing 8 in the spring before you graduate, my seniors. If you're a junior, again, if you get inducted here in the fall, we'd look at you getting 8 spring semester of your junior year, 8 in the summer, and then you'd have those 24-ish for your senior year. This mirrors the Tennessee Promise service requirement. So my seniors, you've heard us probably talking about, have you filled out your Tennessee Promise? Ms. Keys talks a lot about choices. Our service hour requirements literally are coming directly from that Tennessee Promise, so that you're getting in the habit and are familiar with that, so that if you take advantage of that opportunity, you just already know how to do that. And then there is a small dues for the organization if you're accepted. It's 10 for the semester or 20 for the year, and that's to help us offset costs for our induction ceremony, for the graduation stoles that you get to wear with your caps and gowns. If we decide maybe that we want a shirt for NHS to do like service events in, and we have to pay a fee to the national organization to maintain our chapter status here at the school. And so that's, if you're wondering where are these dues going, it's going to help with all those expenses. And so I told you all I would open up. Do you need me to go back someone for the, okay. I told you I'd go back and open up the application just so that you can see that live. This is the application. It's pretty straightforward, I feel like. It is due by Tuesday, November 1st at 5 p.m. So that's a little less than 2 weeks from today. It's going to ask for your name, your class when you're going to be graduating, what your plans are for after high school, if you have an idea. If you have an academic resume, you're welcome to upload that there. It's not required, but if you already have one, you can add it. And then you'll see the next section is divided by the core values, and those learner goals are linked there if you want to try to incorporate those into your answers. You've got leadership, and it asks you to think about 2 or 3 examples of ways in which you've demonstrated leadership in your daily life. Service, 2 to 3 examples of ways in which you demonstrate that. Character, 2 to 3 examples of how you demonstrate that. And then this is the spot where if there's anything else you want us to consider when we are reviewing your application, you can write a letter and attach it here for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How old does the active service have to be? Is it something current or something she's done?
It can be in the past. I would say, though, that you'd want to keep it from probably like 8th grade year to the present. Yeah, I wouldn't go further back in life than 8th grade. And to be honest, 8th grade is a little wishy-washy, but because of the pandemic, I feel like that's a fair mark. Does that make sense or answer your question?
Yeah, I was thinking there would be a mentorship with she don't want me talking, but that's all right. She did mentorship with Oh, I'm sorry, recording.
No, you're okay. Oh. It's all good. But yeah. Okay. And then this last question just is a question reminding you that just by filling this out doesn't mean that you are automatically accepted. It's just you putting your hat in the ring for the faculty council to consider for membership. Like I said, my hope is to turn this around so that you would know my like big goal, big dream is by Thanksgiving. But if I'm being honest, my goal will just be by the end of the semester. Hopefully we can get all this knocked out and turned around by Thanksgiving so that if you wanted to do any holiday service work, you can do that and have it go ahead and start counting towards your hours for the organization. The other thing I want to say to you all, and it feels a little random and weird, but I do want to say, seniors, I know some of you all realized this summer when you started getting lots of mail about colleges and different things. There is an organization called the National Society of High School Scholars. And I'm trying to find that's not the right thing, images. You may see something like this. There are bumper stickers. This is the one. I'm a proud parent of a scholar of the National Society of High School Scholars. I'm showing this to you because seniors, you may have already seen this. My underclassmen, you may not have seen it yet. It may be something that comes to you in the summer between your junior and senior year, maybe earlier. I honestly can't remember exactly when they start sending this out. But y'all, this is not the same as National Honor Society. This is not the same as what you're doing right here today with me at Crosstown High. And I'm sharing this with you because this organization is a for-profit thing. They ask for like $70 or more to join. And you get like a bumper sticker, you get your name like in some book somewhere that you can also pay more money to order. So if you see this, like, that's up to you and your family. If you want to do it, more power to you. But know that it's not the same as our National Honor Society, and it's not the same as like the stole you would wear with us for graduation. So like, I don't want anyone spending money, investing money in that, thinking they're a part of our organization when these are two separate things. This one is for profit. They charge, like I said, $70 or more to be involved. Ours is here at the school. There's scholarship opportunities for seniors who are members of ours, and we'll do service. Our organization, National Honor Society, is one that college admissions counselors are very familiar with. They ask questions about it. It can help with scholarships and different things. So just be aware, if you see this, it is not the same thing as our organization. Okay. That's everything I have. Are there any other questions? Yes.
For like the volunteer hours, is it like a group thing that is set up, or we have to go out on our own?
Great question. So the question for those who are listening, in case you couldn't hear, was, are all the service opportunities going to be group things, or do you have to go individually? Our goal is to have at least one opportunity a semester that we could do as a group. But then if that doesn't work for you, or if you have something where you already have an ongoing like volunteer relationship with, you could also use that. So the goal is to kind of have a mix where we'll try to do some group service projects, but if you already have something going on that you really enjoy, you could also just turn in those hours. Another question?
I was going to ask about separate service hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Any other questions?
Do seniors still have to have 24 because we won't have the summer?
No. So if you are inducted now in the fall, then you would just need 8 in the spring semester. Yeah. Great question. Yeah. So if you are a senior being inducted, you'll just have 8 before graduation. If you are a junior being inducted here fall of 2022, you would do 8 spring semester, 8 in the summer between your junior and senior year, and then you'd have the 8 fall of senior year, 8 spring of senior year. Okay. If you also, y'all, if you have sophomore underclassmen, siblings, or friends, sophomores are going to be inducted in the spring to give them more time to get their GPA established in high school, and also to give us time to make the NHS induction ceremony just more special and more manageable. So if you have underclassmen, friends, or siblings that are sophomores, sophomore induction will happen in the spring semester. Any other questions? Okay. So like I said, you should have the application in your inbox. If you don't, let me know. It's due almost 2 weeks from it is due 2 weeks from yesterday by 5 p.m. Okay. When you fill it out, y'all, if it comes through to me, you should also get it in your inbox. If you don't see it in your inbox after you finish the application, that means something's gone wrong somewhere and you need to follow up with me, because I've got the form set up to email you your responses. So if you don't get those responses, let me know so that we can figure out what's gone wrong with the form. Cool? Okay. Thanks for showing up, y'all, especially here with this last minute notice. I'm excited for you, and I hope y'all will all apply.